if you haven't seen it already, with your kids, or in other areas, doesn't have necessarily with the kids, but you most likely will, double standards. So after separation, uh, I'd made an attempt to contact her to discuss, what was the suitability of different video games and movies, and had exposed my kids to an MA rated game when they were 10 and 8. And in the opening scenes of this game, you actually see a person have their head cut off. And when I saw this, I was absolutely shocked. I was appalled, and I couldn't sit there. Um, the boys, they were really excited with the game, and they were really excited to show Dad, and I'm sure it would have been a weird interaction for them, because at their mum's place, she and her new boyfriend would have been, yeah, let's go, this is good. Anyway, something real clear. She told me with no uncertainty that the Matrix, just the Matrix 1, but all of the Matrix movies were not appropriate. 3 weeks after that, my eldest son she had shown my eldest son the Matrix trilogy, all three of them, including the one where Neo gets his eyes melted. And again, this is a 10-year-old. So whether or not The Matrix is an acceptable movie for a 10-year-old to watch or not, that's something that you can make your own decision up about. But the double standards happened from day one, and they continued all the way through. So whenever there was communication with my ex around establishing consistency of rules about bedtime and that sort of thing, my expectation, because I had seen it so blatantly with The Matrix and a bunch of other things, but The Matrix is one that really stood out. I knew that it didn't matter what she agreed to, she wouldn't stick to it. So I established the rules for our house, and they were the rules for here, and that's all there is to it. I don't really care what happens over at your mum's place. That's up to your mum. And just maintaining that consistency can be tough, because you see them getting away with stuff, and using the fact that, well, mum lets me. Yeah. Anyway, be the best dad you can be for your kids. And that means being the best you that you can be for your kids and for yourself. One of the things that I would recommend, one of the things that I did in the week that I had the boys, my focus, my attention was on them and providing consistency and balance and a safe, comfortable home environment. That was my focus. Quite literally, when the day that I dropped the boys off to school, that they were going over to their mothers for the next week, for the next 7 days, I was processing my shit. So I was spending time reading, I was spending time writing, I was spending time falling on the floor crying, I was spending time staying up late when I probably should have been asleep, just scribbling stuff out on paper and trying to get an understanding of what had been happening to me. So, and I did that the week about, because I didn't want to, when I was processing stuff, lots of shit came up. And I don't want my boys exposed to whatever is going to be coming up out of me. I want them to feel comfortable, to feel safe, and not to worry about Dad as well. That's the other thing. I also know that on the flip side, she would not regularly but intermittently throw the waterworks on to get the boys to further develop that them taking care of their mum relationship. And that's one thing that really happens. Like a narcissist, when you start recognizing it, a person that's a narcissist is really behaving like a 2-year-old. They behave like a 2-year-old. When they don't get their own way, they chuck a tantrum, they stomp their feet, and they stop talking. Very much like a narcissist does. But in a lot of ways, they are developmentally like a kid. And so the kids around a narcissist have to start to take care of the parent. Instead of the parent taking care of the kids are taking care of the parents. And this, I came to realise, really messes and sets you up for failure. Because as a kid, if you start taking care of people beyond your age and developmental capacity, you start taking responsibility for how other people feel, and well, I did. And so their feelings became my responsibilities. And that's one of the things from my childhood that I recognise has affected me and caused me to get into a relationship with a narc. So yeah, a lot in this one. Not sure what I'm going to title it, but yeah. Peace and keep strong. It does get better. It will get better.